What's good, my people? Welcome back to another episode. Today we're gonna take it a little bit chill, low key, sitting in front of the camera and talking to you guys. Give me about like 10 minutes, and I promise you, you're gonna get something out of this that will help you in your personal journey and your personal growth. Today we're gonna talk about maximizing your singleness. If you are single in the single season or single and dating, because if you don't have a ring, then technically you're still single. Then this one is for you and for me as well. Um, so let's get to it. The way I maximize my singleness is I have a very routine oriented week. Throughout the whole week, I already know what I'm doing from morning till evening. Um, and this is for people who are practicing celibacy and abstinence, because that's key. That's very vital. Um, so the way I maximize my singleness is the abstaining part. So I don't only abstain from sex and pornography and masturbation. I also abstain from secular music and movies, TV shows, anything that has explicit content. So because everything gets planted by a thought. So, for instance, you would have the purest intentions of listening to any secular music that has explicit lyrics in it. That is because nowadays, whoo, the songs that y'all be listening to, and I'm just like, that is very descriptive. But all just as a human being, all of that information gets transferred to your head and to your thoughts. So now you're unconsciously singing these words, singing these lyrics, but you don't even know that these lyrics are adding on to your temptations throughout the day. So you might be singing about somebody's body part throughout the day, and then next thing you know, your eyes are caught on somebody's body part, and then next thing you know, before you go to bed that night, you are tempted to lust. You're tempted to watch pornography or masturbation, or you're tempted to hit up your girlfriend. Yeah, because sex with your girlfriend is also not the healthiest thing. And this is a Christian context. So if you're not Christian, you do you. Do whatever you want to do. If you're not a Christ follower, go ahead and do whatever you want to do. But for those who are Christ followers, this video is pertaining to us. Because if you, and this can be a whole different video by itself, but from my experience, and this is me being vulnerable, when whoever I was dating at the moment and we introduced sex into the picture, it ruined the whole dating experience, to the point where now it's like we are blindsided by things because we are attached to one another before marriage, which is very, very dangerous. So now you have a soul tie and you are connected to a person who's not even your wife. So then, like, the red flags that both of you have, you don't see it until further on one of you catches them, and then the other person is so attached. So now the breakup becomes messy and ugly, and one person hates the other, and then it's just horrible. Um, but that's besides the point. This is for the single people. Maximizing your singleness. For me, because I don't have anyone that I have to consistently check up on or call or think about. I have a lot of time throughout my day to focus on me and to focus on things that make me become a better person. If you haven't seen the video of Be Do Have, it's on my channel. I suggest you do that right now or after you watch this video. But it talks about the season of becoming. So for us, singleness is the season of becoming. Even Paul, the apostle Paul in the Bible says, it's good for a person to be single, because that's when you can go and do whatever God has called you to do without worrying about, oh, I got to take care of the wife and kids and stuff like that. Now you have the freedom. If you want to travel and you want to go do a mission somewhere in the world, you have the right to, because you have all this time and you have the opportunity. But more so important is you have the opportunity to better yourself. For instance, God placed Adam in the Garden of Eden. And another meaning for the Garden of Eden is in God's presence. So the first thing that a man needs to be in, a man or a woman needs to be in, is in the presence of God. And then when God created all these things, he told Adam, you got to name it. You got to take care of the garden. You got to do all these things. So God gave Adam a job. So another thing that all men should be having, or men and women in general, but for in this particular context, men, we should be having a job, something that we cultivate, something that we make better, something that we focus our hearts and minds and souls into. And something that's so much better is in the season of singleness, you have the opportunity to figure out what are you truly passionate about, so that you don't have to work that 9 to 5 every day for the rest of your life for somebody else's business. Because if you have a wife and if you have kids and you're already in the 9 to 5 world, then your mind just says, I need to work to provide for my family. But if you're single like me, I work so that, my investments or whatever I get out of work, I can invest into what I am passionate about and the things that bring me joy and purpose, so that I can build something for me and for my legacy and for my family legacy's sake, because I have the time to do so. That's another way of maximizing your singleness. Another thing, if you feel like you really need somebody, that's when you really don't need somebody, because that just shows that you are dependent on other people. If you're saying, oh my gosh, I can't be single, I really need to be in a relationship, then that shows that you need to work on yourself, so that you can be confident in yourself. You can be confident so that when you meet somebody else, they're not completing you, they're complementing you. Because if they complete you, then you become fully dependent on their completion. So that way, if the relationship doesn't work out, that's how you have those ugly breakups, and people start fighting, and you never get, or for you have a hard time forgetting about your ex, and you have all these sorts of attachments. So for me, I feel like right now would be a great time for me to um if I were to meet somebody. I'm not saying that in this season of singleness, I'm like, oh, I'm not dating anybody. Oh, please don't talk to me. No. This is the perfect time where if somebody comes and then they have my attention and I'm interested, then I would go pursue. Why? Because I'm already so focused on me that whatever else comes is a plus. So if I see a person that, a girl that I'm interested in or gets my attention, then I will go and gladly pursue, because I can, but I don't have to. You know what I mean? But if you feel like you have to, if you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so lonely, I need this, then that loneliness and that issue that you have that you haven't dealt with yourself, you're bringing on to the other relationship. And then the abstaining part, it teaches, I feel like a man needs these 3 things: self-mastery, integrity, and character. So abstaining is self-mastery. You are telling your body that you are in control of your body. You're in control of your thoughts and you're in control of your actions, right? So if you're abstaining from porn, if you're abstaining from masturbation, if you're abstaining from sex, you have the power. Nothing has power over you. And here's another thing. If you really want to test your self-mastery, I challenge you to fast. Do a water fast for 3 days. A water fast for 3 days, just water, and see how long you'll last. And don't do it just for self-mastery purposes, but dedicate those 3 days to God and ask God, what do you want in my life? Or what do you want me to do in this single season that you have me in? And I promise you, knock and the door shall be open for you. These are the scriptures that, really come alive when you do fast. Like when you are seeking his wisdom, when you're seeking his knowledge, and you put your flesh down, you starve your flesh. That's when God comes and be like, I bet you serious, so I'm gonna come through. I got you. All right, let's talk. I'm 100% positive that when I started fasting for spiritual reasons, that's when my life fully changed. And that's what made the abstaining from sexual immorality so easy. And now the time that I have is more focused on my relationship with God, my relationship with my family, my job, my school, and then the gym. And then the gym is where I actually learn a lot of things. So the gym it's that healthy habit, because some of us aren't really addicted to porn or sex or all these sexual immoralities. No, you just need to replace those things with healthier habits. There is a reason why every Friday night at around 10, 11, 12, you get lonely and you want to text a girl and be like, yo, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? It's because you're still up late. So it's like if you want to replace that habit, you have to sleep at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. My bad. You have to sleep at 10 p.m. You're like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. That's the weekend. I get to sleep in. Well, you can still sleep in. Just go to bed early. Or if you are a person who likes to go out, go out and then come back home and sleep. But just know that if you go out, you have a higher chance of being tempted to do other things after you go out. Like especially if you drink in the weekends, like alcohol it messes your frontal cortex. It influences your frontal cortex. So you don't have full control over your actions or your thoughts. So that motivates you to do even more. So yeah, replace bad habits with good habits. Pay attention to your time, fast, and give up your flesh so that you can be clear with where God wants you to be. Develop yourself by reading, going to the gym, doing things that are hard and challenging so that you can become a better person. And yeah, that's what I'm on right now, and that's been working for me for a minute. But yeah, I maximize my singleness by watching everything that I do, abstaining from very explicit songs, from explicit TV shows and movies, and then I replace those things with I still listen to hip hop. I just listen to Christian hip hop. I still listen to songs. I just listen to more gospel songs. Or instead of songs, I listen to podcasts and I listen to audiobooks. I listen to things because whatever you consume, it feeds your thoughts, and then your thoughts become your words, and your words become your actions, and your actions become your habits, and your habits become your character, and your character becomes your identity, blah, blah, blah. It's already there. Even in scripture says, as a man thinketh in his heart. You know what I mean? So everything starts with a thought, which turns into an action. So watch your actions, go to where the thoughts are coming from, replace your thoughts with healthier thoughts, and then transform your life slowly but surely. Because look, write this down. Are y'all ready for this? Small, consistent actions over time lead to exponential results. Did y'all hear what I just said? Small, consistent actions over time lead to exponential results. So if you want big results, you have to start small. Start replacing those bad habits with healthier habits. And then once those healthier habits are placed, eventually your whole life will be transformed with healthy habits. And you'll have freedom of time, freedom of mental clarity, freedom of going and pursuing your purpose, so that when you are meeting, or when you meet that special somebody, you are already in the trajectory of having a successful life, of being a successful person individually, so that whoever that person is, they come and they compliment you. That way you're not, struggling. Like, for instance, if you're single, go see a therapist. Please go see a therapist and dig deep of all the trauma, you're like, oh, I don't need a therapist, I'm good, I don't have trauma. Yeah, well, try talking to one. And see all the dirt that comes out from your childhood, there's things that happened to you when you were a kid that affects the person that you are right now, especially if you're a young adult. I would highly advise you go see a therapist. I would highly advise you go to the gym or do exercise. Do something that is hard, that you don't see results right away, but over time you see results. And that's like I feel like the gym for me is something that teaches me life principles. Like, every day I can come and do bench presses, but when I look at my chest that same day, I'm not going to see results. And that's what this society and culture is always chasing after, just fast and immediate results. And I'm just like, no, go to the gym, do something hard that you're not going to see the results right away, but eventually over time, because small consistent actions and changes over time will lead to exponential results. The body that I have right now, it is not something that I got over the course of 1 week or 2 weeks or even 6 months. It's been like 2 to 3 years, I believe. And last year was a year that I actually took it very serious. So that's the principle of life. You have to start slow. The fastest way to get to your destination is by going slow and starting slow, replacing those bad habits with good habits, making those bad habits harder to even attain. That's something that can also help. But yeah. And another thing is, enjoy it. Enjoy your singleness. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I appreciate you. I love you. I thank you for who you are today. And then make tomorrow a better day. Continue becoming the best version of you each and every day as you live. And I promise you that does not only do good for you, but it also does good for whoever you'll end up being with. And it also does good for all the men out there. It also does good for what kind of father you'll be for your children. That's big. Who you are right now. For instance, your character is not who people see outside. Your character is who you are when you are alone, when you are private. And if your character doesn't match the person you're private with who you are outside, then you have a lot to fix before you even get in a relationship. And even if you are in a relationship, I feel like that's a conversation you need to have with your significant other. Because they may be like, babe, you act so different at home, but then when we outside, you be acting like somebody else. That's a whole conversation. Because you didn't take the time to fully develop yourself or invest in yourself while you were single. So am I saying be single forever? No. I'm just saying, in the season of singleness, don't try to rush into marriage or rush into relationship. Instead, try to become the best version of yourself daily, and that's by self-mastery, integrity, and character. Integrity is doing the right thing when no one is even looking. Especially y'all Africans right now in this tax season. I know a lot of y'all are about to lie on y'all's taxes. But integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's looking. And then character has to do with emotional intelligence, self-awareness, self-mastery, social awareness, self-awareness, all these things. That's what we need to focus on. When God placed Adam, he said, focus on becoming the best version of you. Be in my presence. Do good work. Cultivate, protect. And then when he was already doing these things, God was like, all right, here's Eve. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I should call her Eve. So if you're not in the presence of God, if you're not doing work, if you're not cultivating, protecting, making things better, then what makes you think you're ready for a relationship? You know what I mean? So that's all I have to say. If you made it to the end of this video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up so it can go on other people's feed, and then they can see it, and they can share it, and they can watch it, and the world will be a greater place by changing one person at a time, and that person is me and you. That's two people. But anyways, I have a new song out. It's called Catch a Vibe, and it talks about the dangers of being single and not maximizing your singleness. So make sure you check that out. It's streaming on all platforms, and I'll see you guys next week on the next video. So peace.